Yeah, back to practice. For each time we practice, we get near, step near.
Yeah.
So, Annette, what is your word?
My word today is self-empowerment.
Mm-hmm. And it was a beautiful process, how we came to that.
Mm.
Now
Yes.
you came to that because, and we were here and experienced it with you. So that when you say that word in the future, we will all come back to this moment. We will all remember this moment. We will spring forward from this moment.
Yes.
That's an
And,
anchor.
and we build this into every word we want to build in our life. If that isn't a shortcut and a process. And so I think and that was in the earlier recording, huh? How we did that. I don't know what that means yet, but
Mm-hmm.
it means something.
But there's a difference when one gives a word from just the head or one gives one from within the
Oh,
body, isn't there?
Mm.
And we listen the same way and we speak and respond in different, those two ways as well. Because I could have given my version of self empowerment, but only off the top of my head. And it would have been very like something I would have been Googling on or looking up in a dictionary and then speaking it as I'm reading it. And that means absolutely nothing because they're just words.
well, even self-empowerment before this moment was that.
Oh,
Mm.
yes. Yes.
Because someone told you what self-empowerment was, what it should be, what it could
Mm.
be, but you had never tried it on. Well, sorry. No, it's like you tried it on to the point you could try it on to.
So previously, I would use the word I am in my power. And
Mm,
today was the first one that I assigned self empowerment
uh,
because it felt good and it felt right.
yeah, and you
Yeah.
may go back to the old one.
Oh, yeah.
There's no like nothing like don't attach to it. Use
And
it.
when you say that, it's like I don't feel any different with my own self empowerment word today, or you saying, oh, you could always go back to the other one. I felt no different. There was no charge.
Mhm.
Mm.
And
It
I
means
believe that it's balanced out.
mhm,
Because there's no push, there's no pull. They're one and the same. It's observing.
symphony. Yeah, and a
Yeah.
symphony, a harmony. Because you do balance more than just two.
Yes.
We all do. It's the point of taking the chaos and separating it.
Oh, absolutely. Because you have confidence, you'll have truths, you have reliability, all those things, trust, all coming together.
And that's what happens in processing,
Mhm.
in a process. And so many people are afraid of a process. Don't do it to me. And we do it with focusing on one word. So If you're afraid of using words, then, I mean, yeah, then be afraid. Beware.
I definitely feel this fireside has given me more confidence to step out of my comfort zone. So thank you for that.
Oh, and it's like, oh, so Chi used the word confidence. I know the word confidence for me, and it's like, yeah. So it's like, oh, well, Chi, you should have known that the whole time. Like we don't even think what's possible in breakthroughs. That's why we don't have them.
Yeah.
That's why we are afraid of them, is because we think something bad's going to happen.
You're right.
Because as soon as we approach that door, that fear shows up again. Right, Chi? Fear. And then it's like you labeled it, and really you're exploring, why do I have fear?
Yeah.
No, it's the same process. What the thing is that the fear is the core.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the lack of self-confidence comes from the 2 years.
They're all very deep. So we go deep in our processes. We go deep in our change. It's our shortcuts. So
yeah,
being here is a shortcut.
So
yes.
I have a question. Could fear be a conductor as well?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. It can run your life.
Yes, it can be. But then the result would be unresolvable.
Yes, it is mostly an unresolvable pathway. But for me, when Annette put that beautiful question, what immediately came to me was aware. It is an avenue and a spark and it's a conductor for aware.
Not judging it, sit with it. And
yeah, it's awareness of the wobble.
we'll be driving for the next 15 minutes.
Sure.
Go back to be business.
So when one expresses anger that is rooted in fear, that would then be a process.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So we came to do what we do by doing processes. So then we'd have to do process to undo the processes so that we could put new processes in place.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay,
I
so
much better prefer this way instead of the other way.
Oh, a resolvable struggle? Yeah, there's very few ways to be resolvable. There's many ways to be unresolvable.
yeah. So there's one ingredient for me, and it's clarity. And that is what I experience you to be the master at, Jesse. It's bringing clarity.
Thank you. So clarity, that's your word. Now give me as many as you can around it.
Around clarity?
Yes. Associated with clarity.
Breakthrough, wide horizons, space, expansion, That's as much as I can come up with because I'm feeling each
Open.
word in my body. It's enough.
Open.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, open up. Let other people contribute their words to me too.
Thank you.
My word was open.
Now it's closed.
Oh, did you just close it?
No, you did.
No, 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 no. Clarity is sight, also insight.
Mm.
So
Highlight or frame,
Mm.
poke at it, to expose.
well, we know how Annette feels when she's here. Thanks,
Clarity,
Annette.
no, I got
There we
exposed.
go.
I truly understand our connection now, and I apologize that it's that painful for you.
Oh, it's not though. These are just words. See, you've attached emotion to those words, Jesse.
I did it. Yes, you're right.
Oh,
You're so right.
snap!
You're so right. Oh, you got me.
Good job, Annette.
For the charge in.
Because they're just a word. It's just to describe clarity.
So, Allison, why did I do that?
Why did you do that?
Why did I stop you with your real important word? So we went one way where we found the word, and then we took the word another way where we expanded the word.
Yes, and
Two
if
different
you
processes. Two different processes.
yes, yes, and you expanded it more by also
Bring
by
awareness to the possibilities.
yeah.
I'm sorry, Heinz. Say that again, please.
Bring awareness to the possibilities.
Yeah.
That is expanding. Yes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else,
That's
Allison?
clarity. That's clarity.
Yeah. But it's like some people can't relate to your word of clarity the way you did.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like they're familiar with clarity, but you, when you say it, want to make it stick for them.
And so
So
you asked their word.
that's right. One, you got your word, but then also I said, well, give me other words so that they could find a word that they could connect it with.
Yeah.
Just opens the space that they can join you. So you're opening the space around you, inviting them in to attach somewhere.
Yeah.
You were only giving clarity for your breakthrough, for you were like really certain, but then it's like, what other words have that same breakthrough characteristic?
Yeah.
And then you're expanding your vocabulary as well. So now you're anchoring those other words. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Now you're anchoring the, so it's not just that one word that's you, but now it's anchoring all the other ones.
Yeah.
And then I took a great moment to just like ring all your praises so that I could learn to receive them. And now you can throw me money. Thank you.
And now what?
Now you can throw me money. I do love how I do love finding wounds and picking at them though. I mean, I don't do that, but it's like the metaphor that I use here. So, Annette, I think it's my skill. But
Pick up what?
It's something that you observe.
yes, it is. It's the bait that I will always take.
Yes. So where does that come from, Jesse?
Mhm. So the first answer was competition.
There you go.
Ah,
Yeah.
they can be a good thing sometimes.
They always
anything.
are. It's all they're all our dark sides are always good. It's just we've trapped them in a wrong perspective.
That's right.
And
For
it's so core, right, in my muscles of my body that has made it the way that it is. It's like if I undid that, right, I would lose. Like if I undid the whole thing, like I might lose a knee. Right?
So even your response that it came from competition was very quick. It's almost as if you didn't really even have to think about the answer because it was there.
And I double checked it.
Yeah.
I triple checked it. It's like, are you sure this is the one you want me to say? So I fished it, like I baited it 3 times from 3 different ways in a quick response.
Mm-hmm.
Same answer 3 times. Dang it. I mean, not dang it. I mean, that's just me being theatrical. There you go. That's a big word for me. Plus a scary one.
How so?
So in that competition habit was ingrained, um, don't show emotion. Men don't show emotion. A man doesn't have emotions. And when I lose, right, not realizing what I really, and not really, really, but yes, really enjoying the wins and really devastated by the losses and not being able to feel the emotion either way.
Mm.
My story. Nobody else put that limit on me but me. And it's not that I even knew that that was what I was doing. It was just the way I was doing it.
But it was also perhaps a survival method at one time.
Well, so what did it resolve? It resolved that, oh, if I was, so it's, so we're talking about unresolvables at the root. Why do we create the world the way we do? No, these words aren't there. It's the feeling is how we find our words. And there's typically, usually you'll find one out of, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not perfect, I'm not able or capable, and I don't belong. Like, as a child, we usually create a feeling of one of those situations. Now we don't put our words to that because our words aren't created yet. It's just the feeling of that. And it comes down to a feeling of inadequacy, not good enough. So then a child will do something to prove that that's wrong. And they will. And they will build a pattern. And so that is a that is a cycle, if you will. That is a pattern that learned to be resolvable in the short term. And we pile those up. We mix them up, we entangle them up, and we have all of like who we are is because of them. And when we find like the root one, like when I can say, well, like the first one's like, I definitely resonated with I'm not good enough. Well, what would make me good enough? Winning, which meant I had to win, you had to lose. So that's how core it is. And what isn't there is the we. And even backed up farther is like if I'm not good enough, what was I going to do is I was going to win. So that proved that I was good enough, right? Proved that I was good enough. And then it was like, okay, so when I'm good enough, then what would I have? Then what would I have? Then you'll be loved. So all of us comes down to the core of why we weren't loved all the time.
Mm.
And when we find like our whole being is created from this wounding aspect, we can see if it's true, and we test moments, future moments against these beliefs, and we untangle them. We release them. We let them go. We look at them. We become aware of them. We move through them. And we're just wondering, are they true or not? And it's like, and they're not. And so we can say, well, what would I rather have? What would I rather do? Who would I rather be? What beliefs would I rather have? And it's like that becomes fun. And then, so when we go through that pattern, rather than avoiding it, we go through the pattern, we see the pattern, we can finally give the pattern. It's like, no, this is how we can have love. This is how we can be love. This is how we can do love, because at the essence, that is what you've always wanted. You're just helping it resolve by giving it what it wants. Yeah, that's how it works for me in my world. I mean, that's just what I see as a resolvable pattern and why I got stuck where I was stuck. And now, so, but that's all it is my experience.
I had the same experience, and I realized it was conditioned love when it was from the outside in. It's unconditional when it's from the inside out.
So what I hear for that, Heinz, just like mine, was that I was thinking I needed the love from out there.
Yep.
Like they needed to, when they would give me the love. And you think of it, you've said it many times, it's like, not everyone out there is going to love you every time. Now, your parents, yes, but even like as a child, there was moments that I didn't think they loved me. That's sad. And I mean, even my parents are sad that that existed. But we weren't aware what was happening in the moment for a child to make that story up, to make sense of it, because the only one present in that world the whole time is that child. Who's in an environment, who's making up stories to survive. And the stories are made up, follow the emotions, the feelings, so the words are tied to the feeling. And so that's our shortcut, is we ride the words till we grab the emotion. And then is that an emotion that this person would want? Is this an emotion I want? Or is there another one? And then we find, and then we play we play the tune to get to the other one. Or in our words, we say our word. It's our instrument.
I really like this, Jesse. I also feel that when has to include all the ways that one interprets love as well. And one that comes to mind is, let's say, with a child, or even if you're in a relationship, one person might gift something and say, "I love you." And so you receive this gift, and so is this what love feels like when you are receiving something and somebody says, "I love you"? And then do you take that on as an adult, that by gifting something, it's a way of showing love? Um, and I'm just going back to the child, is their experience. So when they did something, so when you would win something, what was the experience that you received from the people that you were looking for something to receive from? And if it was then, in order to get the compliments or the pat on the back or the hug or something, I'm just giving some examples because it could be anything else, is that the experience of love, or that's the experience of what you tied the word love to the emotion of? And so then when we are in a relationship later on, is that when the partner doesn't do those things, do we feel not loved? And yet that partner is displaying their methods of loving.
Mhm.
And we just don't recognize it because it's a language that we have not experienced before.
Mm.
But we experience an emotion because it's not what we're looking for. We feel abandoned when in fact maybe we're really not. They're there.
Mm.
In the case of love, there's a lot of miscommunicating. You know, we express love, we feel love in different ways. You know, there's a book called "In the Four Language of Love." You know, yeah.
Hmm. Yes, I just saw your comment there. The structure of love is not understood.
Mm.
100%. It's foreign.
Mm.
Because we're trying to understand it with our minds, and our body is speaking a different language to what we're trying to understand it as. We're trying to assign words to explain what love is, and our body would then choose other emotions to express what love is.
Mm. And so like when we look at it, it's like, all right, how would we define the simple structure of love? Now, not what love is, but like where we would get it. So see how we're really framing the focus. We're really zooming in. And it's hard to zoom in love that way, but really to understand anything, we got to get to the core of it all.
Mm.
Oh, Jesse, the word self-empowerment just came up for me.
And the word essence came up for me.
Yeah, in many Eastern cultures, you know, it's when kids get grown up, you know, and then they ask their parents why they're beating them, because we love you. You know?
Mm.
Yeah. And look, it's my experience was not like your experience,
Mm.
but I had my experience of those.
Mm-hmm.
frequency was different, right? The degree was different, right? The circumstances were different.
Mm.
That doesn't negate either one of ours.
Mm.
It doesn't make them any different, nor does it make it any more the same. And so then you say, well, then what is it? And it just is. So then it has to be, well, whatever you make up and whatever I make up.
Yes. Because how often do we hear the term, if you really loved me,
Mm.
and then just complete the
Mhm.
sentence, you wouldn't do that or you
Mhm.
would do that.
So
Mhm.
where does that person, and here's the thing is that we know it comes, again, we're not aware of it, but not until we pin it down, we will allow people to wiggle out of it.
Mhm.
The ego is good for flipping the context, right? To flipping the what ifs, coming at it from a different angle so that you can never pin it. Now, that's why we get simple. It's like love either comes from out there, from your perspective, from out there, or from in here.
Mhm.
That's it. So that's the simple structure to look for in love. Am I looking for it from out there, or am I allowing it to grow from in here?
Wow.
Mhm.
That's all we need to dissect.
You're so sharp, man. You're getting better and better, Jesse. Wow.
Well, thanks to you, better and better means is a really good compliment.
Mhm.
Wow. 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 Wow.
So
It's,
is
each time it's mind-boggling for me, man. Wow.
So
so
we've
I
all just witnessed expansion just in that little exchange.
yes, you took the
That
words out
was
of my mouth, Allison. That's awesome.
it was so beautiful.
Yeah. Wow. Thank you.
And so thank you. Like practice like begins to get sharper in what, and so that means that the velocity is going to increase. The momentum, right? The speed, the expansions, right? They're going to increase, stretch, only for those that aren't keeping up. Fair? Well, the good thing is that the 2 years that got us to this point are all recorded.
Yes.
Now, that doesn't mean people have to go back and listen to every one of them, but it gives people the ability to see how we developed our focus. It gives them a shortcut.
Mm.
It helps them see the gaps quicker so that they can get there faster. Faster than it took us to discover it, but they will never get the experience that we got discovering it.
Mhm. Mhm.
But they'll get ahead where they'll have theirs. It's fine.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's more than fun. It's wonderful.
It is. It's like because the collective is just growing faster and faster
Mhm.
towards love, loving in here. Because then we're unfucked. And we kind of blew through those 15 minutes. But that's okay, right? The point is not to catch every one of them, but to be aware of them. And it'll make whoever's job, the editing, a whole lot easier. So, Allison, it doesn't matter what group I'm in, I still get the sense.
You still get to sense.
I still get this sense, my soapbox sense.
Oh. But that's your processing. You're processing when you're doing that.
Yeah, I forget that, right? It's just, I'm just aware of it and trying, yeah. Good to hear someone else's story about it, you know?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Because then it's, and I'm not putting mine to it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're not putting only yours to it, but yours is the ignition.
Yeah. And so there you go. Good. So you're aligning. That's it. The start of that pattern is that start of that neuron, that new habit is important. And so finding that right word that is the ignition word, ignition emotion, and tying them to the anchor. Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
It's our word anchors. Man,
Mm-hmm.
you guys are geniuses.
And then also remembering where, I know you said feeling, but often people will associate feeling with the word, the description of the emotion. And the emotion is in the body. I just noticed that.
Yeah, it's the bear to wrestle.
And that's the anchor, though, right?
Yep.
That's the real anchor.
That's the catalyst, right? Which is, of course, the hardest thing to do, produces the greatest return.
Mm. Mm.
Now,
Mm.
it just appears that way. That's the problem. Like, as we approach the door, it feels like that's it. But we have to let go of that, surrender to it, open the door, step in, and be amazed at what we find.
Mm-hmm.
That's the shortcut. But not until you do it would you ever believe it's possible.
Mm. Mm.
Because you think about it, how much trust or faith it takes to do that for someone that isn't willing to take that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
And that's where I will find sadness.
Mm. Mm.
But
I
it's
think
just sadness.
like it takes three components to create a fire. The material, the temperature, and the spark. And it's the same with what creates breakthrough. I, I, I I believe it's in the wobbling, the wiggling, the giggling that creates the breakthrough.
It's a wonderful connection, Chi.
You need 3 points to create a strong structure.
Mm.
Yeah.
You can call it many things. Positive, negative, neutral, or
yeah. You know, if we all just aimed for resolvable structures,
Mm.
I mean, that's as simple as it needs to be. I mean, would you be okay with resolvable structures?
Most definitely.
Good and bad? Like if it was a resolvable bad structure, would you be okay with that?
Yeah, because you can still take something from there into the next resolvable structure.
Yeah.
That could align more with what you want.
So really the question goes, are you willing to face your scary, your worst experience again?
Mm. Mm.
Yeah.
I need to, those aren't the right words, but you see, you know, it's like I'm playing, right? I'm putting it out into the world. Because it can be like it can be so much until I speak it out. And I truly test it. It's like, oh, that's me playing the instrument.
Yeah, we start to see as in things happening for us, not to us.
That's right. They happen through us, not to us.
Mm.
And it's like love happens through us, not to us.
Mm-hmm.
Now it does, so it's not like that's not a full accurate, but the starting position matters.
Mm-hmm.
We can only receive what we give. We can only receive to the level we can give at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It feels much lighter when we can make sense of it, when we can the awareness.
Mm. Mm. I'm thinking of that song about I can see clearly now that the rain has gone.
Mm-hmm. Jimmy Cliff, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's when we can join between masculine, feminine, masculine.
Mm-hmm.
Masculine energy.
Mm. Mm. It's when they connect rather than separate.
Yes, connected. Yes, exactly.
Connect and collaborate, as opposed to separate and fight.
Yeah. I'll have to go back and listen to this again and again. Wow.
Chi, so what do you experience when you go listen to it again? Because you are one that does it.
Yeah. it's our mind, it has a will of its own, and we constantly uh, it tries to get away from the neutral,
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes I get lost, I have constantly to get back to neutral, back to neutral. And when I go back and listen, I find so many moments, where I wasn't as much listening or feeling, or I could go back. Yeah, there's so many things. It,
That happens to me as well, too.
yeah, there's so much coming up, and then
Yeah.
I get the more the neurons.
Mm-hmm.
Get a clearer picture, because
Mm.
when you go back and listen, you're not participating, you're observing.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because when you're listening and constantly try to find an answer for everything, you get lost. Yeah, it's like concentrate on the finger, and lost all the happening.
Oh, so it is like, so when you go back, it's like you can be in the audience and you observe yourself as the player and the conductor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can be more in the role of the observer. Yeah.
Yes, because
Than
in
the
the
observer.
heat, in the moment you were on the field playing, you were in the hall playing in front of the audience, and now you can watch, like on a videotape, right? You can watch your experience, you can watch it again, and when you watch it again, you can feel it.
Yes.
You can go back to that feeling because it's the memory. Because you were engaged, and so that is what we're building with our words here. We're collectively anchoring our words so that they collectively begin to be used as anchors in the world. It builds momentum.
Yep.
It's a structure that's resolvable, that doesn't take any energy. It's, if you think of how much did you think? I'm going to set this one out.
But you're the only one talking, Jesse. How can you sit this one out?
Maybe I wasn't.
I would say that go back and watch this, listen to this.
The great thing about going back and listening is you come with a new perspective as you observe it.
Exactly, Hans. That's what I get.
Yes, yeah, yes, exactly. I go back with a different awareness.
Yeah.
So there's something that I don't know if it's obvious to everybody in the group, but it's something that has become very clear to me in terms of different automatics. So my automatic is the more dominant one is to go back and reflect. And I think you'll all agree with me, Jesse's more dominant one is to go forward, right?
Mm.
And so I was just thinking about it over the last few days. And then I was thinking again about how I always talk about the dance. Because in my thinking about it, I was thinking, so now, this is such a ridiculous question. Like, which one's going to serve me better? And I didn't even notice that the question was so ridiculous. So I was laughing at myself about that. And then it was just again the thing about the dance between the two and how important both are at different times.
Mm.
Right.
So
So
the
when
question,
sorry, Hans, say?
I would just say, so the question should be, which one of them would serve me better at the present moment?
Yes. Exactly. And that's the question for me. I think that would be a shortcut then. So what's going to serve me best now, right now?
Yeah.
And you don't have to add right now if you're doing it right now.
Yeah.
Now, to coach, right, to make a point, to help someone see it for themselves, yes, you do.
Yes.
But you don't use that when you're doing it in the moment.
Okay, now I'm lost.
It's fine.
At least you're lost in the moment.
A lot.
How else do you set up a path to the next layer, the next level? You open the door and it doesn't make sense, and it's like, yeah, I don't want to go through it just yet.
You're completing the first level.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's it. And that was just the answer in that moment. So I can't teach it as if that's what you do every time. And if I was trying to tell you that, then I would be trying to tell you to buy more of my programs.
You're really on a selling stream today, huh, Jesse?
How much? How much do you charge?
Well, why do you even have to ask? Just send what's right.
I like that.
Don't put the cost on me to tell you what this is worth.
But when Will asked that question, what it took me to see immediately, right? It took me back. It took me back to right in the beginning. And this is just for Jessie, or for Chi and Heinz, so they can have a bit of a giggle. Jessie would ask with everything, how much is that worth? How much is that worth? He was always asking us to put a number on things.
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, it's somewhere between priceless and worthless.
Very
Perfect.
good, Hans.
Yeah, and can you allow worthless?
Yeah, ain't it exactly the same as priceless?
Exactly, because if you can't accept worthless, you couldn't accept priceless.
Nope.
Yeah. And even if you didn't, you're going to have resistance somewhere along the way. And my resistance is I can't, and it was like I couldn't allow worthless. And there's still a little bit of barb in it.
For me too.
A fishing barb. Like a fishing hook. There's still a hook, a barb. It still catches me.
Yeah.
You know, it's why the arrows go in real well. They just don't go out real well unless they go through you. But arrows usually don't.
Okay.
Yeah. Nowadays arrows, yeah. Sidetrack. Will, you've been quiet today.
Yeah, just trying to listen a little more and be a little more present if possible. But
Oh, so what word would you put that as?
yeah, well, I would almost say like beingness.
Good.
Like presence good, listening is good, but beingness is kind of both for me.
Good. And
So just remembering to be, who am I being, right? Like, what am I being? How am I being?
and
How, and
what word would you use as your being?
what is my being? Yeah. I guess that's the question. Yeah, that's the word of the day.
Maybe. I'll share mine. Like
Oh, okay.
what so there was a word I was getting you to see,
Okay.
without giving it to you. But the word that I like held for you was calm.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, that's kind of been my consistent one for the last number of days that I've been really working on.
Right. So
Because
I
spent so many years in anger that it's like, you know, I just want to be calm now. Just want to be calm and cool
yes.
through the storms.
Good. And so what does it mean when someone sees it and points it out and says, oh, that's what I see you as today?
Oh, well, I view it as like a real a win and a compliment, and like thankful and grateful to that is my way of being. Like if someone noticed that, I would be grateful. Yeah.
Oh, did I? I'm confused.
Yeah, you must have noticed that. So thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that.
Oh, that's to me. Thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank
you. Wow. And so what would that, like, so what's the momentum behind that now?
Yeah, the momentum is to keep that going. You know,
Thank
just
you.
Stay calm. Just enjoy each moment and calmly enjoy it. I don't have to be all wound up and like berserk, like manic.
That's wonderful.
You're welcome that I validated it for you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. How much do I owe you?
Exactly. Well, again, you're automatic. You need to switch that.
Yeah. Just kind of like joke about it and oh, hey, there you go. Wahoo.
Because see here, look, you're asking the question before you've got your answer.
I am. Huh.
So that's the structure. That's the structure, is that you're asking the question before you have your answer.
Okay, so that you can find it.
That's right. So you have your answer, and then all you're going to do is compare it to their answer. But so here's the disservice. If we tell someone, here, you put your energy into this question, and you haven't answered it yourself,
yeah,
give me a word to describe that.
I would say leading.
Okay.
And confused.
Mine's a little bit stronger.
Okay. A little bit stronger. Okay. Because you're starting to get your power back a little bit.
Okay. And so what would be a stronger word to the ones that you described?
Yeah, it would be a little more like choice. Like, okay, there's options, there's choice available, you know?
Okay. Wrong direction, but okay.
Yes, and then now you see where the confusion comes from, eh?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So I will use the word, to me, it's disrespectful.
Oh, oh, to ask
without having the answer, without
yeah.
having asked the question to yourself.
Oh, okay. I'm hearing you now. Okay.
Yeah.
So in other words, you should have asked yourself a question first and drawn your own conclusion before you ever ask the same of someone else.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Thank you. Yeah. So what's your word then for today, Jesse?
Process.
Process. Cool. And yeah, I think mine is calm again, you know, because I'm just going to continue with that, continue practicing that and trying it on. And yeah. And just enjoying the process, you know, to utilize your word.
So I'll share something with you, Will.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love that.
So for me, just in observing and imagining myself,
Yeah,
being in your position. So if I had asked JC for his word and he gave it to me,
yeah.
I would have the word process. But if I had the word calm before I asked his word, I would get a very different experience of his word.
Because
Or I
I've
do
already
get a
chosen.
Just because then there's a point for connection between the two. Okay. So it expands his word and mine. Or it would show a difference, which is still an expansion. It gives more information, but not just information for information's sake. It brings something different into the body.
Okay.
So I'll just
new perspective.
Yeah, I'll just share that. Sorry.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, it's like delivering a resolvable structure. So you'll notice I don't ask someone specifically for their word of the day. If the way I do that is I say, I announce my word of the day is. Why? Because that brings people's attention to their word of the day. That is delivering a resolvable structure.
Okay.
Gosh, I'd never thought about it like that.
Delivering a resolvable structure. That's cool.
That's a process.
Because it's open.
You're planting the seeds.
I'm bringing the attention to it because we all have the experience of word of the day because we created it here.
Yeah. And it kind of needs to start with someone.
Mm-hmm.
You don't just randomly like start asking, hey, what's your word of the day? What's your word of the day? You start off gently.
Because
when you found it.
What will some people do? How would they respond to those questions, Will?
Yeah, if you're not really kind of ready for it, it might be kind of confusing.
That's
know?
right. So rather than that, you're being a demonstration of what it's like to share the word of the day.
Yeah.
They're in the audience watching you perform.
So you lead
Conductor.
by giving your word of the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's a way. It's a way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then that kind of helps serve people for them to start considering their word.
Mm-hmm.
Resolvable structures.
Yeah.
Momentum expanding. Yes. Like expansion has
flow.
momentum, right? It pulls along.
Cool. Cool, collected.
Mm.
Rather than confused chaos.
Mm.
Collected and connected.
Collected and connected.
Mm.
It's funny, how calm could be so many different things intertwined with it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, collected, and connected. I love that. Thank you. Yeah, I think I'm just going to even write that down. Nice to make these little notes every now and then.
So does neutral include all or none?
Yes, and?
Good.
Mm.
Make sure you're connected. The writing's on the wall. Yeah,
All right, so let's do a group recap. Closing the hour, end of it, and what this is an opportunity for this summary to open and lead people into listening to the session. Help it for people editing, like, oh, what are the highlights? What would people say are the highlights of today? What do we want people to hear? Like, make them short. Yeah? So we express here what our highlights were. What was important, our breakthroughs, right? This is what are we going to reinforce so that we're scattered? This is what I'm going to scatter with.
Mm.
And so in that, it was like processes for me. So I asked the question, have my answer. Lead the way. Like, be willing to lead the way. But then there's also times where you got to step back and let another conductor in. But since all day, not that I always do, and that's why I don't always hold what I practice. What I say is like, I give you like what I find is the best. Doesn't mean I live up to it all the time.
Yeah. Nobody's perfect.
So process. It was like process. It was today processes around like the process of word of the day, the importance, like what one word means, like what requires it to come into is a process. We did some wounding, right? Some unpacking our identities, our core wounds. What are resolvable and unresolvable structures? We looked at them. We looked at it as a child in these feelings in our environments, just making sense, trying to be safe, you know?
To be safe and to secure love.
Yeah, love.
They're very intertwined, those two.
Mm-hmm.
They are equally important, and we tend to think that safety is the dominant one, and at times it is, but love is equally dominant for the body. And when I say dominant, I mean that it will lead. The search for love will often overcome the need for safety. For me, the highlight for today was opening space for essence. That's what I felt happened. And it was powerful and beautiful and reassuring. And dare I say, simple.
For me today has taken me to, how to not lose my energy, how to restoring my energy or whatever. I know that I'm aware of that it is easy to lose your energy too. How simple thoughts or simple word can misdirect you. To go back, practicing going back to the center, the energy, not giving it to, not judging my circumstances or situations or persons. Yeah.
So I have to scatter. But for me today was not focusing on the microscopic view, but look at the telescopic view.
Nice.
Beautiful, Annette.
Bigger picture, right?
Yeah. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Annette.
Thank you, Annette.
Have a great
Have
day.
a great day. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Divine.
Chi, thank you. Your word. So a process, like what was just created was a process there around your word center. So it would be ask someone, what's your center? Now, you can have them ask it. You can ask it and listen for their answer. Is it from their head? Is it from their heart? And what you may notice is their center, your neutral. And that's the space that we can dance in. So then is neutral your center, and is center your neutral?
Yes, that's I'm aware of that. It has to go hand in hand.
That's resolvable, right? When it works that way and it works in the opposite, that's a resolvable structure. When it works forwards and backwards, right, are resolvable structures. So just Annette says is like, yes, we notice, are we looking through the microscope or the telescope, and then look through the other one?
It makes sense, yeah.
Which one am I looking through? And then notice the other one, because that helps you notice the other one. And then you get the whole view, right? You get the whole view and be like, okay, now what could I do? So thank you. That's a like an easy connection for people. It's like, well, what does center feel like? Like it takes them right to it.
It certainly does.
And then it would be like, well, I would call this neutral. What about you? And so then if you were to go positive, what would you call that? Boom, they'll tell you. And then what would you go negative as? And they'll tell you. It's like, oh, that's the structure of your world. And then I would ask, well, do you see the world as it's out there or is it in here? Where's your world? All of a sudden you got a majority structure of life in which that probably how you're seeing the world. And it's like, are you okay seeing it that way? That's all that matters, not how I see it. Are you fine seeing it this way? Yummy.
Yes. Yeah. The resolvable is also always yummy.
It is. Like
Yes.
and then we ask, like, why would I even go for an unresolvable? And then it has us like, it's like, there's no way I'm in an unresolvable structure. Like that's what your ego is going to tell you. And so if you hear yourself say, I'm not in an unresolvable structure, then it's like you're in one.
Yeah.
Are you brave enough to say that? That's what it comes down to. Love you guys. What a great day. Have a wonderful day. And until next time.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great day.
Everyone.
Bye.
Have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.